Welcome into episode 17 of Through the Whistle. I'm your host, as always, Ty Belcher, and on today's episode, we have a lot of things to talk about. Big day yesterday in both college football and in the NFL, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the NBA right now and how things are progressing over there in the association. So, we're just going to get right into the episode. We're going to talk about Saturday and yesterday morning before the NFL games. And there's a certain team out there, very important team, near and dear to my heart. I don't know if you guys but notice anything. I just keep my biases to myself. But there's a team out there. Just forgot a little part of my accessories for today. There's a team out there who is now back-to-back Big Ten champions. And I know it's been a very turbulent ride these past 2 decades, we're being real. But this team, I don't know if you guys can guess. I don't know if you guys could ever assume that I was a fan of this team. That team who's back-to-back Big Ten champions, first Big Ten team to win 10-0 in conference play. Man, that's my Michigan Wolverines. Come on, clap it up. Woo! You guys didn't know it's performed live in front of a live studio audience. But anyways, so we're Michigan goes out there in Indianapolis. That might as well be our second home at this point. We handle business against Purdue. Yes, Ty understands that we only play Purdue. But, you only play the people who are on your schedule. You can only play the teams that are in front of you. I know. I would love to play somebody like UCLA or something, or like a Clemson. But no, they're not in our conference. We can't do that. Ty, they're only Purdue. They're not even ranked. Okay? I don't care. We won. I don't care. We won. And we won this game by doing what we always do. Slow and steady during the first half. And in the second half, we're just going to snap your neck like we're just from lines or something. I would say like a Wolverine, but I still have no idea what a Wolverine is in actuality. So we're go back to that now, Jeff. We're like a lion, So slow and steady, and it's like the first half is just us hunting. It's like found you. Okay, you gonna fight back a little bit, okay? Cause in the second half, we're just gonna be Michigan. We're gonna be great. We're gonna do what we do best. We're gonna run the ball. But aside from running the ball, offense is fun. Everybody loves offense points. Woo! But the old saying goes, defense wins championships. And our defense is just amazing. I don't know what to tell y'all. In the last 8 games, in the second half of the last 8 games, we've only given up 2 touchdowns. 2 touchdowns in the second half through the last 8 games. That includes Ohio State, the big bad wolf. That includes our little brother out there in East Lansing, that includes Penn State, who is supposed to be so good. So, after the Iowa game to this past Saturday night, / Sunday night, because that game took forever, we've only given up 2 second-half touchdowns in the last 8 games. Come on. It's us. Come on. It's Michigan. But we'll talk a little bit more about Michigan in a little bit, after talk about college football playoff and the rankings and stuff. Elsewhere, we're going to rewind back to Friday night. For those of you who saw Friday's episode, I said, hey, USC is going to handle business. There won't be any debates about who's going to make the playoffs because USC is not going to lose. And USC lost. I know. And everything just, went downhill after they went for it on a 4th and 8, which was kind of weird. I personally, as an offense coordinator, would never do that. But that's just me. I'm just a man who makes podcasts. I'm not the leader of a Power 5 team as an offensive coordinator. But going for it on 4th and 8, kind of a weird thing to do. I know you're in the little no man's land when you're out of field goal range, but you're kind of too close to punt. But still, after that, everything just went downhill. Caleb Williams had a great performance. USC's defense had a terrible performance being USC. No tackling on their defense. It's kind of sad, kind of pathetic, very pathetic, not been kind of. And it's back to, can Lincoln Riley win the big one? Can Lincoln Riley win when it matters most? And it's just like, hey, you can't handle Utah. Now, what are you going to do in this a little bit over 2 years when you get to play Michigan, when you have to play Ohio State, when you have to play Penn State, you have to play Michigan State, when you have to play Wisconsin, when you have to play Nebraska? What are you going to do? Because, hey, newsflash, bud. Newsflash. Lincoln Riley. Newsflash. We play defense out here in the Big Ten. In the Midwest, we have people who actually know how to tackle. I know, you're not used to that. I don't really have that out there in the Pac-12 on the West Coast. You didn't really have that out in the Big 12, down south area. You didn't have that, but it's okay. In the words of James Miranda, the Honorable Coach Miranda, I got you. I'm going to learn you. And it's going to be a nice little adjustment in a couple years. But for now, USC, I don't want to say that they had a wasted year. I don't want to say they had a bad year, because coming back from where they came from, where they were mediocre, just to say the least. Mediocre, haven't been to a Pac-12 championship game, haven't been relevant since essentially Lane Kiffin was there when Matt Barkley was on probation. The USC team was on probation, couldn't go to a bowl game. That's the last time USC's actually been kind of relevant. And ever since then, they've been in a little purgatory, of teams that are just like 8-4, 7-5, if not worse. But Lane Kiffin's turned it around, got things back on the right track. It would have been interesting to see how they would have fared against, I wanted them to play against Washington so bad. I wanted to see USC versus Washington. More specifically, I wanted to see Michael Penix Jr. versus Caleb Williams, which would have been a great game to bet on when it comes to passing yards. But we didn't get that. So Utah now, Pac-12 champs, back-to-back years. They're going to be the representative in the Rose Bowl, back-to-back years. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens going forward, because USC's going to have to hit the portal hard, try to get some linebackers. Hopefully try to get some guys who are trying to leave other conferences like the SEC or Big Ten. Even some guys from Clemson, they want to leave, or Florida State. Try to get some of those guys in on defense, people who actually know how to, tackle. That'd be great. But next year, it's going to be interesting out there in the out West. I'm not going to get too much into the next year kind of talks because, that's going to take away an episode for the future. But anyhow, USC now facing Tulane in the New Year's Six Bowl. It's going to be interesting how that goes. Tulane is going to try to go out there, shock the world. Tulane's a very, very good team. Very big fan of Tulane because, they're covering machines. If you bet on Tulane, you're going to win your money back. And then some. But anyhow, Caleb Williams should still be the Heisman winner. Probably less votes than Like the margin will be probably closer than what it was due to the guy who played in this other game about an hour east of, California. If you're in the plane, not driving, because it's a nice distance. And that's Max Duggan of TCU. So Max Duggan and TCU went out there, got behind, per usual. That's kind of like their usual MO. If you've seen TCU play, you see they like getting behind early, and then they just, bam, pack it on, come back, win the game. But I don't know if I said this on Friday. You cannot keep doing that. That's not a sustainable way of winning games. It's not sustainable for anybody. And that kind of showed on Saturday. But TCU did have a chance of winning that game. They should have won that game. Max Duggan put the team on his back. If anybody's ever seen the Madden video of, who was that, Greg Jennings going down the sideline on a broken leg, kind of a top-tier video. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. But Max Duggan went out there only, 2 years, if not less, removed from having a heart surgery. Went out there, put it all on the line. Just defense couldn't get it done. Offensive play calling, offensive coordinator let you down, because if there was a play, this is only hypothetically speaking, I wish there was a play that existed like this, where you just need 1 yard, just set the scenario. You just need 1 yard. If only there was a play that you can just run right behind your O-line, not have to take a chance of someone breaking through the line. If only there was a play that your quarterback can be, pushed forward, by, other players on the team. Only there was a play like that, that would be great in every 4th and 1, 3rd and 1 scenario, but there just doesn't exist. Oh, yeah, there does. It's called a QB sneak. And the last 2 days, I have seen too many teams not run a quarterback sneak when NFL players, J.J. Watt, an all-time D lineman, an all-time NFL great, said that it is the hardest play to stop because it is literally a yard, and you're literally just against the offensive line and getting pushed forward some more. You have Jason Kelsey, a multiple-time All-Pro center, saying every old lineman wants to just do a QB sneak because we know it will work. We don't need to be fancy. All you do is wedge and you just push. Everybody knows. Just go QB sneak. I don't know what it is about these offensive coordinators trying to get too fancy, trying to draw all these, miraculous plays, trying to be the smartest person in the room, when there's a whole play that is dang near a 100%er, at worst, a 90%er. A 90%er. If I told you run this play 10 times, you're going to score 9 of them, you're going to run that effing play. I'm not going to cuss because, I'm a good man. But run the dang QB sneak, TCU. You run the QB sneak, you win the Big 12 championship. You win the first Big 12 championship in years. Max Duggan becomes a legend. Coach Sonny becomes a legend. But now, you're a loser. Y'all lucky that Alabama was a 2-loss team, because boy, oh boy, you would have been out of there. Anyhow, TCU loses, being idiots. Lost me my parlay because they're idiots. Don't want to go for it don't want to do a QB sneak. Kicker wants to miss a field goal. Johnston, who is one of the best receivers in college football, fumbles the ball. But that's cool, because you had all that could have been erased if you just do a QB sneak on 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1. But I'm not here to call plays. Well, not yet. I'm not here to call plays. Elsewhere in, college football, Tulane beat UCF Tulane clinches a New Year's Six bowl, like I said, against USC. And I guess we can talk a little bit about Georgia, LSU, even though we all knew what was going to happen. Especially after Jane Daniels started hobbling and stuff. No. LSU had no chance. No. They just lost to Texas A&M. There was no chance. I'm sorry. Let's call it a spade. We're going to get into, we're just going to go straight into college football playoff rankings. I had a feeling, I did get this part right. The top three will remain the same, even though I thought TCU would win, and that's why it will stay the same. But it's not. It's not what happened, sadly. Sadly to my pockets. But the top four went as Georgia, Michigan. So it went Georgia, Michigan, TCU, Ohio State, and Alabama was right there at number 5. So a lot of people were up in arms saying, oh, Ohio State shouldn't get in. Alabama should get in over them. Ohio State lost by 20. No. That's no. So let me hop on the Ohio State, support train right now. Because for the next 3 weeks, I will be supporting Ohio State because I do not like Georgia. I hate the SEC. I have some guys on the Ohio State team who I want to see succeed. Small bit. I want them to succeed in all of 10 out of 12 games. Well, this year, 10 out of 12 games. Other years, 12 out of 13 games. I want them to succeed. But this year is a little different, because they make the playoffs. But anybody who was saying Ohio State shouldn't make it because they lost by 21 at home is an idiot. Yes, an idiot. If you told me, we're just going to do all these different metaphors. If you told me your best bet that you ever had was you losing twice, like losing a parlay twice, like losing 2 separate parlays by 1 leg, okay, how is that a good win? You lost your money at the end of the day. Why would I care? Like, all right. And then you tell me, oh yeah, I had 2 big parlays for over $1,000 each, but I did miss 1 parlay where I missed every single leg. You'll be like, oh, the second person has is better at this betting stuff than the other one. Okay. If I told you, let's put this in like a medical field type of thing. Let's say, for instance, you're trying to place an IV. Shout out to my Dukes. I know you're going to end up watching this. Oh, the best 2 times you ever placed an IV, the best times you placed an IV was when a patient was fully hydrated, easy veins to find. And then the 2 hardest people was to find, you missed. No, that's weird. And then this other person's like, oh yeah, I placed every IV but 1. The hardest person to stake, they didn't really have any veins showing. Oh, okay. You're like, oh, that person's better. If people were trying to be on Twitter, tell me in group chats that Alabama should be in because they lost 2 games by 1 possession. Lost 2 games, so they're better. How does that work? You lost. Why would I care about your best quality being losses? That makes no sense. Like, does that make sense to anybody? Like, a resume of being the number 10 team. No, yeah, I think they finished as number 10 team. A top 10 team in Penn State on the road. And beating Notre Dame, who was very good down the stretch. The last, 8 games. And then you tell me, you compare that to being Mississippi State and Texas without their starting quarterback. Which one is better? Okay, I thought Ohio State's resume was better too. And then let's look at it like this. You lost 2 games. That's the only thing that matters. Like, you lost 2 games. I don't care about you. You're no longer relevant to anything. You lost 2 games. You want to be in the playoffs, don't lose 2 games. Simple as that. But Ohio State now faces Georgia. Ohio State matches up the best of any team in the nation against Georgia. They have the receivers to do so, assuming Jackson Smith and Jigba is going to be back. And they, calling a spade, Ohio State has the best chance of being Georgia out of any of the 4 teams. And that also leaves Michigan to play TCU. TCU is a very tough team, very physical. They also can't tackle. I love that. I love that for Donovan Edwards, who's probably going to have that ugly cast off of his hand. Hopefully he changes his helmet. I hate that freaking motorcycle-looking helmet. Donovan Edwards, going against a team who can't really tackle. But Michigan's defense is going to have to not be this little second-half team, even though they're playing against a team that's also a second-half team. But we'll get into we'll talk more about that later on when it comes to previewing bowl games. But we're going to hit a little break. But before that, I want to shout out a couple of my guys. All my guys down at OU who are in the bowl game. My boy Mark Lee, who's at Eastern Michigan, clinched a bowl game down out in Idaho. Joey V, congrats on making playoff. Just shout out to all the guys who Chuck Train, people I know from outside of that. Shout out to MBE, Mark. And we're just going to hit a nice little break real quick. After that, we're going to talk a little bit about the NFL. And then we're going to be out of here. Make sure you guys stay tuned in through the Whistle episode 17. Welcome back into episode 17 of Through the Whistle. And yesterday, I know we talked about how college football playoff kind of set the tone for the whole day in sports. But, hey, there might be a new sheriff in town in the NFL. That's Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow goes out there yesterday, plays against the Kansas City Chiefs in a very important matchup, hosting the Chiefs down in Cincinnati. And we all remember AFC Championship game last year. Pat Mahomes choked, played overtime in the playoff game. It's a great day for me. That was a great day. We saw earlier in the regular season, the Chiefs kind of collapsed second half, lost against them. So going into yesterday, Joe Burrow undefeated against Patrick Mahomes, some people's GOAT, Kevon Belcher. Don't know why you would call that man the GOAT. But anyways, Joe Burrow just says, hey, I'm not like, tells Patrick Mahomes, hey, I'm not one of them other ones. I'm not Josh. No. I'm not any of these other guys who he's going to beat up. I'm not Justin Herbert. No. I'm Joe freaking Burrow. Joe Shiesty. Joey B. Goes out there, beats the Chiefs again. First team to beat Patrick Mahomes 3 straight times. I'm just like, dang. This kid's the real deal. Played a very, 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 very great game. Very great performance yesterday from Joe Burrow. Jamar Chase came back from injury like he was like, hey, I'm still him. I'm a top 10 guy. Every week it's like he's trying to prove that he's a top 5 guy. And I think he's getting closer and closer to that upper echelon of receivers. Top 5 guy. Don't know if he's up there yet. There's a lot of guys out there with, Stephon Diggs, Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, Justin Jefferson. So that it's just because you're only top 10 doesn't mean that you're not a top echelon guy. It's just we're just in the receiver renaissance right now. It's amazing to watch. But Chiefs down early and just you can't get down Joe Burrow. It's just not sustainable for success, like at all. I can't even think of any times that he's blown a lead. I mean, yeah, he blew a lead yesterday technically, but I've never seen can't really remember on the top of my head any games where he'll blow a lead and then lose the game. I know I'm being very specific right now to this one case in point, but still, Joe Burrow just shows on a game-by-game basis that there is never going to be a moment too big. In the words of Coach Sturdy, moment is not too big. He won't pee down his leg from being scared. Joe Burrow is honestly one of one. 3-0 against Pat. Second season in, like full season in. Already has the AFC Championship belt under his belt. Honestly, was Aaron Donald block away from being properly a Super Bowl MVP. And it's just, the Bengals are a very, very tough team to play against. Yes, their DBs are very mediocre, but dang, as a unit, they're a very good team. Jesse Bates, top 3 safety in the league, easily. You know, they get pressure on Patrick Mahomes with just rushing forward. A lot of disciplined guys on their D-line stay flat instead of, letting Patrick Mahomes, do his little fat man scramble where he runs for the slowest 15 yards I've ever seen, and it works every time he does it. But Joe Burrow is just that guy. Top 3 quarterback in the league now. I just don't think that there's really an argument against it, especially with Aaron and Tom falling off like they did. Hey, Bengals. Hey, wouldn't be surprised if there's some donations coming into Cincinnati, a Joe Burrow Foundation from the Bills Mafia, because we all know Buffalo Bills are a very giving organization when it comes to, very giving fan base, because they played on Thursday. Yeah, they beat the Patriots. Come on, it's not that hard to do. But they beat the Patriots, and then they sit back yesterday and just watching games, hoping for the best. And the Dolphins lose. And then the Chiefs lose. So they went from 5th to 1st by sitting at home, doing what I was doing yesterday, watching the games. So the Bills, I feel like, are probably going to turn it back on. Hopefully they can turn it back on, keep it going, keep these games from being close. And the Chiefs, I'm pretty sure they're hoping that the Bengals lose another game. So worst case scenario, they can sit the guys last game of the season. Because now the Bengals win out, the Chiefs lose one. The Chiefs are going to be 3rd seed. And they will have to go back into Bengal Stadium. I'm pretty sure they did not want to do that. The Bengal Stadium, the jungle, Houday Nation they were off a perk yesterday. They were just turned. It was like, wow, great to watch, great scene. Tony and Jim Nantz on the call. Doesn't get any better than that. But Chiefs, I think yesterday was kind of the first time where it was like, hey, we kind of need Tyreek Hill right now, because Travis Kelce, what was it, like halfway through the third, he was basically on the back of a milk carton. Like, no one could find him. No catches, no yards. And then he gets the ball, gets it going a little bit, and then he has to fumble, which gets the Bengals back into the game. And it's like, in moments like that, it's like, dang, if we got Tyreek Hill, we can do this. He'll be opened up more. You can't really double-team Travis if you got Tyreek out there. But that's how the cookie crumbles, Not every dynasty can, stay together, even though the Chiefs are not a dynasty because they only have one championship in the last 4 years. So they're not a dynasty. But Chiefs still have a very, very strong chance of being the number 2 seed. Still have a chance at the 1 seed because how easy that the Chiefs' schedule is. This was the Chiefs' last tough game. So wouldn't be sweating too much if I was in Kansas City. On the other hand, the Bengals, I know you're not praying on someone's downfall, but with Lamar going down, it makes things way, way easier going ahead, cheat, lose to the Ravens. I mean, Ravens lose a couple more games because we know, yes, Huntley's a great guy. Great quarterback, great replacement. But to say that he can win, what is there, like 5 games left? I just don't see that happening. No, there's not even 5 games left. 6 games left. You're hoping that Lamar can get back within the next 2 weeks. Hopefully split the next 2 games if you're the Ravens. If it wasn't for Russell Wilson being so trash, they'd probably lose yesterday. Excuse me. But Bengals now back in strong contention of, winning the division, going back to what they did last year. Early, stumble this year, just like they did last year. When against the Chiefs, got everything's going, got the ball rolling. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Bengals go down the line, especially with getting Joe Mixon back in a couple weeks. It's going to be – Bengals are scary once again, unlike the team who made the Super Bowl last year. And elsewhere, in the other game that I just mentioned – well, not just mentioned – another big game, Dolphins lost to the Niners without Jimmy G because the Niners are an interesting team. They have a whole quarterback room who is literally just Jimmy G. Jimmy G and Brock Purdy are literally dang near the same exact player. It's kind of scary. So it was a very seamless transition from Jimmy G going down into Purdy getting in. And it's kind of ironic because Jimmy G getting hurt out for the season is the reason why Trey Lance even got drafted. I know the Niners wish they had Justin Fields right now, but they don't. But Niners still have a strong chance of winning the NFC. Then they still will win the AFC West, for sure. That's a for sure statement. And there's a lot of rumblings about Baker Mayfield coming to the Niners. Maybe by the time this is posted, maybe he is a Niner by then. It's going to be interesting to see what the Niners do going forward. Personally, I think Cam Newton will also be good in that position with the 49ers, with the way he plays and all this other stuff. But it's going to be interesting to see how the Niners kind of bounce back. We've seen the Niners be able to win without Jimmy G. We've seen them be able to win because their defense is just so spectacular. We still don't do that with Jimmy G, so I'm pretty sure they can do that without him. And on the other side of the field, Dolphins lose, drop down to number 5 seed again. I don't know. It's kind of hard. Do you focus too much in on this game because there's not really another defense out there that's like the 49ers. They have a great pass rush, great front seven. They have Kyle Shanahan's one of the best brains in all of the NFL. Their defense is just, like I said, it's just out of control. They're insane. And I said on Friday, Kyle Shanahan doesn't lose to his former assistants, any other staff members. Now goes to 13-5. Hey. But the Dolphins still have a very strong chance of winning the AFC East. Still have to play the Buffalo Bills again. They beat them. They're right back into the number 2 seed. And I think a lot depends on Tua's health. I think yesterday kind of showed, if not before, you didn't see any of this season, Tua's very limited. So if you're the Dolphins and Lamar does hit the free agent market, you have to offer him a contract because Lamar in that offense is just unfair. Literally a Madden team. So Dolphins don't really have much to worry about. Their defense played pretty well. And I'm going to put too much, emotion behind this game. Kind of get past it, get rested up, get into next week's game. In another game that had playoff ramifications to it, my Giants had a tie with the Commanders. He gave up a late touchdown. and we had a punt fest in the overtime. It hurt because I'm a man who talks down on soccer. I'm like, who wants to watch a game ending in a tie? And guess what? The NFL just goes into a tie. You need to find a better way of doing that. But Giants dropped to 7-4-1, still stay in the playoffs per technicality. Commanders dropped out with the Seahawks winning yesterday over the Rams at 7-5-1. But we'll see this team again in a couple weeks. We got them twice in 3 weeks. We're not worried. We're going to go into the DMV. We're going to handle our business. We're going to get the ball rolling. We have the Eagles coming up this week. I'm not nervous. Hopefully. I'm a liar. I am very nervous about playing the Eagles. But the Giants, Daniel Jones has been playing really good. Defense has played really good. I just don't know. But with that being said, I just don't know what we do with Daniel Jones because we're not franchise tagging him. No, he's not worth that type of money at all. Like, no. Especially with all the quarterbacks who will probably be available, Jimmy G being one of them, Derek Carr possibly being one of them, even though the Raiders have got it back on track, and maybe even Aaron Rodgers, even though I don't want Aaron Rodgers. We're a young team, and I just don't think he's the right guy for our team. But the Giants still fighting for the playoff hopes. I said on Friday, I am willing to sacrifice the Giants for a Michigan win at any point in time. I will always be willing to sacrifice the Giants for Michigan any day of the week. I think that kind of tells you where my loyalty lies the most. But we're going to segue a little bit into the NBA from the NFL. NFL's going down to this most important stretch of the season. So that's why the last couple weeks we've been talking about the NBA. Especially since the NBA is so early in the season. I'm just like, NBA should. Adam Silver, please start the season on Christmas Day. You can have all eyes on you. No NFL games really that day. And you're just like, hey, season tips off Christmas Day. Season ends in July. That'd be sensational. Cut the amount of games down. No one wants to watch 82 games. I'm sorry. Let's call a spade a spade. Let's be real. Players don't want to play 82 games. Come on. Adam Silver, get it done. But sadly, I have to talk about the NBA for right now. You know, it's a very pivotal stretch in the football seasons in both leagues. But Anthony Davis is single-handedly saving me from looking like an idiot for saying the Lakers are going to make the playoffs. And I know I did my amendments a couple weeks ago, but I'm unamending that amendment about the Lakers not making the playoffs. AD can just sustain, just not even like this 50-point performance from the other day, not the 30 ball. I just need 26 and 12. 26 and 12 from AD, 20 and 8 from LeBron, and then Russ giving you a modest like 15 off the bench. Lakers are going to be a playoff team. But AD, back in that MVP form that we saw back when he was in New Orleans, that we saw back when he was that first season with LA. Lakers, man. Hey. Only there was somebody saying the Lakers want to make the playoffs. Okay, I know I wasn't the only one because like, a lot of other people said Brown wasn't going to miss back-to-back. But we're going to talk more about that towards Christmas, post-Christmas, you know, after this bowl season's over. And, also, before we get out of here, this bowl season is a very important bowl season. You know, FanDuel's coming to Ohio starting January 1st. But, disclaimer, I highly recommend not betting on sports if you want to continue to enjoy them. Okay? It's a very slippery slope. You will start hating players that you love because they did not perform the way you need them to perform for your parlay. But that's just my PSA announcement. Anyhow, during this bowl season, I kind of want to do something that a couple guys on my Twitter do. And that's I'm going to essentially bet on every single bowl game. And I know Todd has a lot of bowl games. I'm like, yeah, a lot of chances to win some money. That's all that matters. So I'm going to be betting bowl games. I'm going to keep you guys notified, updated all the time on the Instagram and TikTok. And just want to get that out there, let you guys know as we fastly approach bowl season, which starts, I want to say, next Saturday. But all in all, this wraps up episode 17 of Through the Whistle. We'll be back again more than likely on Thursday. I have to run, go do this little presentation for my high-impact professional speaking class. Always love doing speeches, as you guys know. But that wraps it up, episode 17 of Through the Whistle. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Keep the fan base growing. I appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in. And thank you. Have a great rest of your day. Ty Belcher. And it's